Our invited speaker is Padma Shri Professor Shashank Joshi. He is currently a senior consultant endocrinologist from Mumbai. He has been the past president of the Association of Physicians of India and the Indian Academy of Diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, his topic this afternoon is ideal edible oil and cardiovascular protection.
So this is the most prestigious oration in the name of none other than our senior most member of CSI, Dr. G.S. Senani. You can see the relationship of the speaker and on whom the oration is. I think the oration has not yet started, but the relationship has already started now. Ladies and gentlemen, Shashank Joshi holds a very important position in India today. He is the president of API, and he has come all the way to give this oration. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Shashank Joshi. Shashank.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra. It's really an honor to give Dr. G.S. Senani oration with Dr. G.S. Senani in the audience. And I have a long history of knowing Professor Senani. I have known him maybe 2 decades back. And one of my first chapters which I wrote, we wrote it together. And he fondly remembers me even now. And he has blessed me throughout my career. I'm grateful to have you. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Chopra for organizing such a wonderful conference in such a sattvic milieu, because of late we organize meetings in all very tamasic milieu. And I have been given a talk before lunch, which is, to talk on oils and CVD, which is a very controversial topic. So what I'm going to do in, I'm told 12 minutes, it may become after some time, Padmanabhan may make it 10 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to talk on some simple points. We just finished our ICMR INDIPE publication on lipids, and some of you all must have seen this publication in the +1. So I'm just going to pick up some bits from there. Then maybe some pertinent issues on Indian diet and fat issues. Then of course the million-dollar question, edible oils. Which edible oil to use? Because that has always been a question to all of us. And because there is not a single oil choice now, the current trend, just like we are endocrinologists or diabetologists, we blend or mix insulins. Currently, the current practice, which started from Japan, then moved to Australia, has now moved to India. And that is fundamentally blending oils, physical blending of oils. And then maybe 7 individuals who are looked at. And if you look at lipid abnormalities, you can see there's a clear correlate across traits as the BMI goes up. And as the waist circumference moves up, you can see that you get a lipid abnormality. So there's a clear link between BMI or waist circumference, that is abdominal fat or obesity in general, with any lipid abnormality. So across board, you can see, except females in Jharkhand, this was seen. So what was the lipid abnormality? If you look at all the 4 regions, across patients screened, 79% had at least one lipid abnormality. 82.9% in Chandigarh, 80% in Jharkhand, 76.9% in Tamil Nadu, and 77% in Maharashtra. And if you look at the lipid abnormalities, 72% of them had low HDL. A good 29.5% had high triglycerides, and 13.9% had high cholesterol. And no abnormality was only seen in 21% of subjects. And if you look at the triad, which is low HDL, high triglycerides, and elevated LDL cholesterol, it was classically seen in 7.7% of the adult population screened. And if you look at the highest cholesterol rates were observed in Tamil Nadu, highest triglycerides in Chandigarh, highest rates of low HDL in Jharkhand, which we presume to be physically more active. And that's why there have been some suggestions. 80% of the subjects, 35%, and reduce the sat fat to 7%. That should be our really goal, and that's what is ideal. What happens? If you have too much of sat fat, we have insulin resistance, high triglycerides, low LDL, and high HDL. Typical. And that is very adverse for us. Sat fat proponents, which are the ghee proponents, only have one brownie point of increasing HDL, but they forget the triglyceride and the LDL which goes up. And remember, our traditional Indians, our ancestors, were physically very active. So they needed fish, achieve higher intake of ALA. And foods and oils enriched with DHA, EPA from marine microalgae are a vegetarian source of omega-3. Eliminate trans fats completely, limit sat fat, consume low-fat milk and dairy foods, moderate the consumption or remove the red meats, and increase MUFAs and PUFAs both. And I'm sure Dr. Chopra must have already alluded to you in the morning session on consumption of whole nuts in limits, of course. Also remember, oils have a lot of non-glyceride component. For example, let us look at simple all vegetable oils, ghee and butter. They have plant sterols. They have ADK. They all have low cholesterol action. All vegetable oils, including RBO, rice bran, palm oil, have tocopherols, tocodiretrenols, carotenes, orezanols. And sesame oil has sesamol and sesamin. And they all have antioxidant and lowering cholesterol properties. So why do we need to blend? The current trend is to blend oils. The blending is basically a blend of PUFA and MUFA to include the omega-3 to have the right physiological effect so that we have the right benefit from these oils. Improve the nutritional profile because we know no single oil meets that ratio. Improve the where the challenge is that when you have too much of MUFA, you will have its own limitations because we don't get adequate amount of energy. And then we have the PUFA proponents, where we are lowering cholesterol, but we are having an adverse omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acid ratio. So no oil is perfect. Neither olive oil is perfect, nor a canola oil is perfect, nor a ghee is perfect. Therefore, the current trend is to blend them. Physical blending is possible, chemical blending is possible, and if you blend oils, you are able to get extraction of MUFA and PUFA in the right blend so that we can have better lipid profile. Because India, we have a huge challenge. We still cook food which has a lot of oil in it. We are not able to change our milieu of environment of cooking practices in India. That's a very, very difficult challenge for public health experts. I now urge Dr. Chopra, who's now becoming the CSI president, to take some strong action from the public.
MUFA is a perfect oil. I think it's a very, very important. A lot of research is going on. A lot of data is coming up. I think let's give him a big hand for his outstanding presentation. And the person on whose name this, no questions please, this is the oration. I think this is very important. The person on whose name the oration is, he is right with us. And they are from the same place. And he took his blessings before giving oration. And I'll request Dr. Senani and Dr. Manchanda and Dr. Vijay Raghavan to kindly join in giving the token of appreciation. And Dr. Nanda also.
Ladies and gentlemen.